From the outside, success looks pretty great, right? You see the big wins, the awards, the highlight reel on a constant loop. But behind every single story of triumph, there's a hidden side, a silent battle fought with exhaustion, self-doubt, and a constant, gnawing uncertainty. It turns out, everyone wants to be successful, until they find out what it actually costs. People see the victories, but they don't see the thousands of invisible hours that went into them. And they definitely don't see the quiet terror that can creep in once you've finally gotten everything you thought you wanted. You did it. You reached the top. The success you've been grinding for is finally yours. But instead of popping champagne, you're looking over your shoulder, just waiting for the moment when everyone finds out you don't actually belong here. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And that feeling has a name. Picture this. You land the dream job, the one you've spent years working toward. You're in the boardroom, surrounded by the same people you used to admire from a distance. You earned this. Your ideas are smart, your work is valuable, and there's clear evidence that you're competent. But inside your head, a completely different movie is playing. A little voice whispers that it was all a mistake, a fluke. You just got lucky, the standards were low, or they just haven't figured you out yet. This isn't humility. It's a paralyzing fear of being exposed as a fraud. You find yourself working twice as hard, not because you love it, but to keep anyone from discovering your so-called inadequacy. You brush off compliments, chalking your wins up to anything but your own skill. Oh, it was a team effort, you say, or I was just in the right place at the right time. You downplay your talent because owning it feels dangerous. It feels like setting a trap for yourself. Because the higher you climb, the harder the fall will be when they inevitably realize you don't have what it takes. This is the deep, profound isolation of achievement. The success you wanted was supposed to bring you confidence, but instead, it handed you an even heavier burden. And you can't really talk about it, because who would get it? To everyone else, you're the definition of success. Complaining would just sound ungrateful. So you carry that weight all by yourself, smiling through meetings while a storm of anxiety is raging inside. This experience is incredibly common, but it feels intensely personal. It's a psychological phenomenon known as imposter syndrome. The term imposter phenomenon was first coined back in 1978 by psychologists Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes. They noticed that many high-achieving women, despite their accomplishments, felt like intellectual phonies who were unable to actually internalize their own success. Since then, we've learned this feeling hits people of all genders and from all walks of life. In fact, some estimates suggest that around 70% of people will experience these feelings at some point in their lives. Imposter syndrome is that nagging, persistent feeling that you don't deserve your success, that it wasn't legitimately earned through your own skills. It's a pattern of thinking defined by self-doubt and the fear of being exposed as a fraud, even when you have a mountain of evidence to the contrary. While it's not a formal mental health diagnosis in the DSM-5, it's closely linked with anxiety, depression, and burnout. Dr. Valerie Young, a leading expert on the topic, identified 5 common ways this fear shows up, which she calls competence types. First, you've got the perfectionist. For them, success is almost never satisfying. They set impossibly high standards, and if they only meet 99% of their goals, they obsess over the 1% they missed. One tiny mistake isn't just a mistake, it's proof they're a total fraud, which leads to a spiral of shame and self-criticism. Next is the soloist. Soloists feel like they have to do everything by themselves. For them, asking for help is a sign of weakness, an admission that they aren't good enough. This fierce independence can lead to burnout and isolation. Then there's the expert. Experts believe they need to know every last thing before they can start a project. They're constantly chasing more certifications and more training because they're terrified of being caught not knowing something. They won't apply for a job unless they meet every single listed criterion, completely undervaluing the skills they already have. These aren't just quirky personality traits. They're cognitive distortions that literally warp your perception of reality. Your brain is actively rejecting evidence of your own competence, trapping you in a cycle of anxiety and that persistent feeling that you're just one mistake away from being found out. This internal feeling of being a fraud is just one of the secrets of success. The story we're all sold is a highlight reel, but the reality is way more complicated and often not what you'd expect. There are two other hidden sides that are just as important to understand: the power of being bored and the need to find a third door. First, let's talk about the profound, unsexy power of boring routines. We live in a culture that glorifies the hustle, the grind, the 24/7 excitement. But the truth is, most extraordinary success is built on a foundation of mind-numbing consistency. Think about leaders like Oprah Winfrey or Tim Cook. They're famous for their precise, repetitive schedules. It's not because they lack imagination, it's because they get a fundamental rule of performance. Boring routines build greatness. When you automate the essential stuff through habits, you free up your brain power for higher-level thinking, creativity, and solving big problems. Your brain's habit center takes over, letting the decision-making part focus on what really matters. Boredom kills more goals than failure ever will because it tempts us to break the very cycle we need for progress. But top performers know that a tolerance for monotony is a superpower. The ability to just show up and do the unglamorous work, day after day, is what creates massive long-term results. The second hidden side is what author Alex Banayan calls the third door. He describes success like a nightclub. There are 3 ways in. The first door is the main entrance, where 99% of people stand in a line that wraps around the block, just waiting and hoping to get in. That's the conventional path. Work hard, be patient. The second door is the VIP entrance, where billionaires and celebrities just waltz right in. That's the path of privilege. But then, there's the third door. This is the one you have to find. It might mean jumping out of line, running down an alley, and climbing through a window in the kitchen. It's the unconventional path. It's all about being resourceful, persistent, and creative. It's about turning a no into a new relationship or finding your own way in. When Tim Ferriss was rejected by dozens of publishers, he flew across the country for a chance coffee meeting that landed him his book deal. That's a third door move. It shows that success isn't always linear or fair. Sometimes, it requires skipping the line altogether. So, you've got this internal fear of being a fraud, the external reality that success is often built on boring work, and the strategic truth that you sometimes have to create your own path. It can all feel like a lot. But what if we looked at these hidden sides not as roadblocks, but as road signs? This is the turning point. You get to reframe the whole narrative. What if that feeling of imposter syndrome isn't a sign that you're a fraud, but a sign that you're growing? The fact that you feel it often means you're pushing past your comfort zone, taking on new challenges, and learning. People who don't feel like imposters aren't necessarily smarter or more capable. They just have a different reaction to being challenged. And you can learn to think like they do. Instead of seeing self-doubt as a final verdict, try seeing it as a byproduct of ambition. It's proof that you care deeply about what you do. The goal isn't to never feel like an imposter again. The goal is to change your relationship with that feeling. In the same way, boredom isn't a sign you're on the wrong path. It's a sign you're building the discipline that mastery requires. And the need to find a third door isn't a sign that you're an outsider. It's an invitation to become an innovator. Understanding all this is one thing, but actually doing something about it is another. So, here are a few practical strategies you can try to help you navigate the hidden side of success. First, to tackle imposter syndrome, you have to separate feelings from facts. Just because you feel like a fraud doesn't make you one. A really powerful technique is to become an evidence collector. Keep a running list of your accomplishments, positive feedback you've received, and times you've overcome a challenge. When that voice of self-doubt starts getting loud, open the file and look at the objective data. It's much harder for that imposter feeling to survive when it's staring at indisputable proof of your competence. Second, try using principles from acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. You don't have to become a therapist, just use the core idea. When the thought, "I'm a fraud," pops into your head, don't fight with it. Just notice it. Say to yourself, "I'm having the thought that I'm a fraud." Then, gently bring your focus back to the task at hand. By not getting into a wrestling match with the thought, you drain it of its power. Third, to harness the power of boredom, embrace consistency. Pick 2 to 3 boring habits that will have the biggest impact on your goals, like writing 500 words a day or reviewing your finances every Sunday. Then, just do them, without expecting them to be thrilling. Use habit stacking to link a new habit to one you already have. The more you can put on autopilot, the more energy you'll have for deep, creative work. Finally, to find your third door, start asking for what you want and get creative with persistence. People are often more willing to help than you think. Find mentors who are open about their own failures. Their honesty will show you what the journey really looks like. And when you get rejected, don't see it as a final answer. See it as the start of a new conversation. Conclusion and call to action. The hidden side of success is that it's not some magical destination where all your problems just vanish. If anything, it brings new, more complex challenges. It's a messy, ongoing process of managing your own mind, embracing the unglamorous work, and finding a path that is yours and yours alone. That feeling of being a fraud doesn't mean you are one. It often means you're exactly where you need to be, right on the edge of your own growth. The goal isn't to eliminate the fear, or the doubt, or the boredom. It's to learn how to dance with them. To see them not as proof that you're not good enough, but as signs on the journey of a life well lived and a career hard earned. You are not alone in this. And the most powerful thing we can do is start talking about it. So, I want to ask you, have you ever felt imposter syndrome? Share your story in the comments. Let's create a space where we can be open about the hidden side of success and support each other along the way.